Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats, typically in your direction, if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pits, the players, the hustlers, the people, the busters, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. We've got a Major League Baseball game going off the board in a couple of minutes. It's not being played in a Major League Baseball stadium, but it does count in the Major League Baseball standings. Last night, we hit the Athletics and the over of the nightcap, and once again, there's only one game starting in the late night hours this evening. The Braves send Elder to the hill. Spence goes for the Athletics. The total is an even 11, which sounds kind of high, but yes and no. We know that Sacramento plays to the over. We know this ballpark plays to the over. The weather plays to the over. And we know the bad pitching plays to the over. Elder's as bad as the Kiss record called the Elder was. He's bad. All right. And you know, in his last 4 starts, he's given up 4 or more runs in every one of them. I think he gave up 9 once. Like, he got, lit up. Like, he's been a gas can. Spence is, the same thing. Spence, gives up, 4 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs, etc. So there should be runs in this game. We played the over 11 in this game. We played the over 11. So it's kind of a weird week. This week, as far as games are concerned, this is sort of the slowest sports week so far. We've had games, but there's tournaments and, the U.S. Open Cup going on with the MLS teams and the Canadian Cup with the Canadian MLS teams. And speaking of which, FC Montreal gets eliminated by the Forge, a Canadian League soccer team, right? These teams get up for this. You see the MLS, right? The U.S. league teams, they get all fired up when they play the MLS teams. It's very similar to the relegation teams and in the Europe stuff. So you got to be careful. You got to be aware. And Montreal got bounced tonight from the tournament from Forge FC. The Vancouver Whitecaps are up next. Last night it was Vancouver 2. Tonight is Vancouver 1 in one of these things. For the record, Vancouver won the shootout last night, but the Whitecaps are playing their starters tonight. They're not playing around. The Whitecaps, they've never won an MLS championship, right? So what can they win? What are they going to win? Right? It's they can win the Canadian championship. You get a trophy for it. It's like it says on their Twitter, 7-time Canadian Cup champions. It's basically like every pro team in Canada in the tournament, like the U.S., like the U.S. Open Cup. And they're like, it's not easy for them either. They kind of like didn't like go all in the first game. So they're tied at 2 on the aggregate. They're big favorites tonight because people see that they care and they're starting their, like Brian White's playing. He's back. So they're going all in here tonight. The Vancouver Whitecaps. So we like the Caps. We got them in a parlay. We posted it. If you want to lay the 1.5 goals, I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it's going to be easy for them though. These games are never easy, but I think the Whitecaps are going to win, and they probably win by 2 or more. I like a same game parlay. Whitecaps to win the game over 8.5 corner kicks. Whitecaps to win a game over 8.5 corner kicks. So we'll track all the Major League Baseball. We'll keep our eye on the soccer. We got an MLS game coming up here. A weird start time, 10:25. Not 10:15, not 10:30. Like really, all right, 10:25 Eastern. LAFC and the Colorado Rapids. Kind of a train wreck of a game here, considering the number. LAFC. Put it this way, you can't trust LAFC laying minus 250 is pretty steep, but Colorado aren't very good, right? So, but we'll get into that game. We got that game going off the board at 10:25 Eastern time. No Brady Cannon tonight. Brady Cannon is a late scratch, but we still have a ton of golf picks. Cam's going to have like 72 picks, and we actually have multiple tournaments this week. You got the Scottish Open, which is the precursor to the Open, so guys that want to play some link-style golf leading into the major championship next week. We've got that. We've got this ISCO thing, which seems to have some pretty big-time players playing in the event, and there's a live event as well. So for golf bettors, a lot of events to bet on. And we can play the guessing game. How many plays does Cam Stewart have when you consider there's 3 tournaments? I'm going to venture like into the 60s or 70s, to be honest with you, like the weather. What? How many golf picks is Cam? I don't know, 72. Let's go like with a perfect temperature in that range, like 68 to 72 degrees for Cam Stewart. Our boy Guns Picks in the house here tonight. Guns Picks back in the rotation. Now that college football is around the corner, he's been pulling the trigger, and he's been breaking it down and looking at the college football landscape as we have begun to as well. College football season is pretty much here when Phil Steele's magazine is out, and Phil Steele's magazine is now out. I was thinking, do I want to order the magazine? And I don't really, I got the digital one. I prefer to actually have the hard copy of the magazine. One thing with Phil Steele is, and maybe it's me, and I just can't see, but there's so much information in his magazine that the text is like freaking small, man. So like on the digital version, like I'm enlarging it and stuff like that, and then it's too big for the page. And it's like this PDF format that I freaking hate. Like, nothing's right anymore. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's right. Just give me the magazine. But evidently, you get the magazine, you get the hard copy. You get the hard copy, you get the digital version as well. So we're gonna jump in. We got college football talk to hit, and of course, Mark Lawrence's great playbook set to be released as well. Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, throws it down with us later on this evening. We'll get into the CFL and more. The internet continues to blow up following the video that we showed you last night of Taransky, the former NHL enforcer, beating up a drunk dude on a golf course. And now people are trying to track down who the drunk dude actually was. And hasn't he been humiliated enough? Like, really? Like, hasn't he been humiliated enough? But probably not the way that the internet works. Devin Booker, he's not humiliated. He's super rich. Devin Booker gets another $145 million from the Phoenix Suns, agrees to a 2-year, $145 million contract extension that keeps him with the Phoenix Sun franchise through the 2029-2030 season, as the money is getting tossed around in the National Basketball Association. Not so much in the NHL. And I couldn't help but notice, so the Vancouver Canucks first-round draft pick. Kid's a stud. They just drafted him. The draft was like last week, 10 days ago or whatever. So they just drafted him. They actually just signed him. So it doesn't mean he's going to make the team right away, but I saw they got a $500,000 signing bonus. So the base salary is $975,000. That's like the minimum salary in the NHL, and he got a $500,000 signing bonus. And of course, we know the story now of Gavin McKenna, who's the kid's going to be the number one pick in the NHL draft next year. He just signed with Penn State for 1 year for $700,000. So it's like Penn State just gave him more than the Vancouver Canucks gave like the 15th overall pick in the first round of the NHL draft. Like, if they're going to start throwing around this type of NIL money in college hockey, then you know what? We really are in a brave new world right now. And I really was born at the wrong time in the wrong generation. Because, hell, I even would have been worth a couple of $100K in today's landscape. Let's roll.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. Let's do this thing. All right, we got Babano a little bit later on. We'll get into the CFL with Babano. We got our boy Guns Picks back in the rotation. Guns Picks a Notre Dame fan, but we don't hold it against him. We still like him anyway, so we have him on the show. So we'll talk college football and more with Guns Picks. As I stated, we got an MLS game going off the board in about 15, 20 minutes time with LAFC and the Colorado Rapids. I think LAFC will win, but it is minus 250. If you had to, I would play it on the alternate line, minus 1.5. The Vancouver Whitecaps are playing in a Canadian Cup against the Valor. And we saw earlier tonight Montreal from the MLS, which is a bad look for the MLS to lose to any of these sort of like Division II tier teams. But to be honest with you, CF Montreal are pretty much like a tier 2 like team. They're bad. And it's very strange too, like Montreal. Their owner is very rich, like Saputo. Anybody knows Saputo dairy products, and they basically are like a big food family and other things, and they have a lot of money. And so people thought, all right, like he tried to buy the Montreal Canadiens, this dude, Joey Saputo, and he they didn't do it. They handpicked who they're going to sell it to, etc. So they didn't give it to him. He owns a team in Italy. He owns one of the teams in Serie A, and he upsets the fans there. And he doesn't spend any money on a Montreal team. Like Montreal, has a new coach. Like I might be the new coach of Montreal in 2 weeks. Like they have a new coach all the time, and they always have. Oh yeah, we're playing a new system. And like they have a bunch of 20-year-old players and kids on the pitch. Anyone that's good, they sell and they trade for money all the time. Like it's a real disaster. But they hit a new low tonight, getting eliminated by the Forge. The Whitecaps have their own test tonight, and the Valor are no joke. And these teams get fired up for this, right? Like any tier 2 team, you're going to get fired up when you're playing like an MLS team. It's a story for the boys, story for the family. Hey, you know what? I beat CF Montreal in Montreal, and I scored against the MLS team. You have the story, so you got to be careful of it. Whitecaps and the Valor are scoreless. They're tied at 2 on the aggregate, so they're scoreless right now in the 10th minute here in Vancouver. We got that one baseball game going on that started. We like the over 11 tonight in Atlanta and Sacramento, and it hasn't taken long, actually. 4-0. The Atlanta Braves put a 4 spot up in the top end. Cam Stewart steps up in it. And remember, Cam, last night we rolled the dice. It was sort of a coin toss, but I sort of felt like the Athletics were going to beat them. Tonight, I said, you know what? I think the A's are going to bounce back. But the thing was, Elder is so bad. Like, Elder is a legit gas can. He's given up 4 or more runs in 4 straight starts, 5 runs, 9 runs, 4 runs. Like, he's been hit hard. And then Spence is a gas can. So Spence just got torched for 4. The Athletics might put up 4, like, right now. So I'm not so sure, like, I missed out on the Braves. I only played the over 11 in this game, but the Braves are up 4-0 right now, middle of the first.
Great call. No, we were on the Athletics last night. I was on, could they do it again? But you're right, 2 horrible pitchers tonight live, total 14.5. You got a great number. If you were going to say, what would you do with the game? I'd probably take 14.5, but you got a great number. One live bet, Gabe, I think I'm going to go down. I'm going to take the Padres right now. They're only plus 110 down 1 run in the top of the 4th against Arizona. I trust Dylan Cease, but I like your pick. I agree with you. The Atlanta Braves pitching in Oakland, I would not be surprised if this was like a 9-7 type of game. They've got some real bad pitchers on the hill tonight.
The thing is, though, we should know, like last night, we were on the over, and it was like 10.5, 10.5, depending on when and where, etc. And if you guys recall, it was like, oh, boy, we got 9 runs, like in the 2nd inning already. We were up to 9. And it got there. It was like 10-1 in the 6th or something. They didn't score. Like the in-game total ballooned to like 17.5 at one point last night, guys, and the game just stopped. So, we'll keep our eye on this. I'm not saying I would pull the trigger on under 14.5 right now, but I'm just stating that, we saw this last night with a ton of early runs. But on the flip side of this, the Athletics are plus 400 right now. You'd almost like more, you're down 4-0, but it almost goes to show that the computer knows that, they're not completely out. They haven't batted yet, right? And they're getting 3.5 runs right now on the run line. It's minus 110 on the run line, both sides. Braves minus 3.5, minus 120. Athletics minus plus 3.5, minus 110. The D-backs are up 1-0 in San Diego right now, top of the 4th inning. They're minus 125. San Diego minus 105. The in-game total is 5.5. Royals up 4-3 on the Pirates right now, top of the 9th inning. And this game just actually came to an end. Guardians up 4-2 on the Stros late. They're in the top of the ninth inning, and the Rangers are stringing some wins together. I think we just had a home run, actually. Were you on, Cam? Arizona or San Diego?
I was going to take San Diego. Yeah, the live line.
Arizona just hit a home run, so you might have dodged
Perfect.
Arizona.
Yeah, no, that's good. Now I can get them at +1.5 and +172 instead.
2-0.
Down 2-0. Yeah, I'll take
2-0 San Diego. They're now +195. You can get +1.5 runs, -110. 2-0 for the D-backs now, top of the fourth inning. And we got a basketball game going on, which is pretty entertaining, actually. Like, the more I watch this league, the more I like it. It's not on TV all the time, and it's unfortunate. It's the CEBL, and not every sports book has it. So, like, you have the CFL, and every sports book has the CFL now, and everybody loves it and is betting it. People would like this league. And you can watch it online, so you can watch it anywhere in the world, right? They have every game is, they have a website, and it's online and stuff, and it's well-produced. Like, they have real broadcasters and everything, and they have, like, 1 or 2 games a week on national television. And it's really good, but like Bet365, which, a good example is Bet365 right now is taking bets on Peruvian basketball. Like there's the Peru Liga de Lima. So there's some team named Dinosaurus playing right now, and they're taking bets on it.
Dinosaurus.
But, you know what I mean? Like, I'm taking bets on the Calgary Surge right now. Come on, man.
Dinosaurus.
Yeah.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, is he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Cooper Flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The Wicked Wednesday continues. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. The Montreal Lions are lighting up the Calgary Surge right now. Calgary, 9-5 team, playing at home right now. Stampede week. And the crowd, they got a nice crowd in the arena, too, and the crowd does not look too happy. 62-47 for a Montreal team that are missing a couple of players, and they're up 15 right now. I wish I bet the over this game because it's a freaking track meet. We're still in the first half, and it's 62-47. So we're up to 109 points. The total was 175.5. They don't have in-game for it. That's what I was just complaining about. They had pre-game action for it, but I'm legitimately surprised that they do not have in-game action for it. And oh, there they do now. They didn't, but they've just posted it. There it is. Wow, in-game total, guys, 206.5. It was 174.5. That's how off they were on this. Dear God, 206.5 right now. That's insane. All right, so we'll keep our eye on that. And we got Major League Baseball going on here this evening. Like I said, kind of a lighter night tonight once again as far as late games. You know what it is? A lot of the West Coast teams, they're on the East Coast. Like, there's not as many West Coast teams playing at home or they're playing during the days. We got the getaway day and all that. So it's still 4-0 for the Braves right now. We're into the top of the second inning. Still 2-0 for the D-backs right now over San Diego. Rangers up 3-0 on the Angels. Right now, the Guardians are up 4-2 on the Astros. The Blue Jays finally lost a game. The Dodgers keep losing and lost again today in Milwaukee. It's the first time I've seen, like, I don't know if it's the Dodger fans. The modern era people on social media are all kind of tool bags, but it's the first time, like, people are ripping them where there's, like, anger and stuff. Like, even, like, I think they're most ardent fans. You know, they don't mind 2 losses in a row, 3, but they're up to 6. Right? And then people start to, oh, my God, they've lost 2 series. They've gotten swept 2 series in a row. But whatever, man. Everyone's going to judge the Dodgers in October and November, not what happens now. There's ebbs and flows to this. If it turns into like the Yankees or something, then you got a problem. But the Yankees are getting back on track and hitting the baseball. They beat up they put some runs up on Seattle this week. And we've got not 1, not 2, but 3 golf tournaments this week. It's really spread out. You got a live event. No one really cares about the live stuff. I mean, some people bet it. 72 people watch it. The only people who go to the live events just go to heckle and just sort of get drunk and bother the players, it seems. Live's like a train wreck disaster. But you got the Scottish Open, the precursor to the major championship. And you got some big-time players that want to get their links game in order. Scotty Scheffler's the favorite at plus 550. Rory McIlroy, plus 900. Tommy Fleetwood, who is a super popular pick because it's not on U.S. soil. People think, wow, this is the spot for Tommy Fleetwood. Plus 1,700 right now. Morikawa, plus 2,400. McIntyre, number has come down. It was like 30-1 before, but McIntyre's a defending champion, and the year before that, he didn't win. He actually finished second here. Like, McIntyre is a Scottish Open, like, kingpin. Xander Schauffele, 22-1. Ludwig is 27-1. Victor Hovland, 32. So you got a full field here, Cam. But like I said, Fleetwood is a very popular pick this week because of the fact that it's in Scotland and it's not on U.S. soil. So people are playing into that angle.
It's a great angle. Yeah, no, I'm not sure if I'm going to take him to win, Gabe, because he just doesn't break through a lot, and I want more if Tommy Fleetwood's going to win. But great point you bring about Robert McIntyre. He's from Oban, Scotland. This is his main event. He's from, like, literally in Scotland, way up in the middle of nowhere, too, and he lives for this event. He's always showed up in it. He beat Rory McIlroy by a stroke to win the event. You said it. He's come second before, and that number has been bet down. Robert McIntyre is a great links player, and he's actually adapted his game to the North American style as well. He's done well on the PGA Tour, almost won the U.S. Open, second behind J.J. Spaun. So this guy's in really good form right now, and it'll be very interesting, Gabe. You take a look at these guys here. It's playing like a major. It's playing like an absolute major right now. The Scottish Open field is jam-packed as stars.
It is, but we'll talk about it on the other side. There's always that thought process with the star players the week before. I almost like the non-star players the week before a major. A star player a week before the major, I think, Cam, it's more working on is this and that. Maybe changes the club here or there. You know, maybe I want to check this new swing out before next week. That's always my concern.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What are you, 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year at Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. It's the Wicked Wednesday. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. All right, so quick check of the baseball board. The Braves have put another 2-spot up, so it's 6-0 now. We're going to the bottom of the second inning. In-game total is 14.5, over -130. So the Braves are up 6-0 on the Athletics. The Angels have just responded with a 3-spot. So over bettors have to like that if you took the over of this baseball game, Rangers and Angels. And in fact, the Angels just took a 4-3 lead. They were down 3-0, but they're scoring. They've scored 4 runs and counting right now, and they're still rocking right now. They got a runner on second base. There is 2 out, but the Angels have just taken a 4-3 lead on the Rangers. That's a big swing. In-game total is 12.5. If there's a game, and it sounds like I said, this Braves game, I'm already on the over 11, but I think the Angels and Rangers will be one of these games. There's going to be runs. Like, we're already at 7 now. The ball's flying in Orange County tonight. Total's 12.5. It's only the bottom of the third inning right now. There's a lot of at-bats left here, and we're already at 7. Put it this way, as somebody that prefers to bet on the unders, like, there's no way in hell I'd be betting under 12.5 in this game right now. Already at 7, bottom of the third. In fact, we recommend a play on the over. All right, so we were taking a look at the Scottish Open, and I was talking about Tommy Fleetwood, very popular pick. I get it. I wish there were better odds than 17-1 for Fleetwood. We talked about Robert McIntyre, guys. So this guy, he's Scottish. He won last year. The year before, he finished in second place. He clearly enjoys this tournament. He clearly enjoys winning this tournament. He's 24-1. But looking at McIntyre's like props, top 5 is plus 475. Top 10 is plus 240. McIntyre top 20 for a guy, guys, that won last year, finished second the year before, and is from the freaking place. Plus 120, Cam, for a top 20 pick. There's no locks with this top 20 in golf, right? Oh. Obviously, but this is a good pick. I like that. Robert McIntyre for the cautious player out there. Plus 120, top 20. I'm surprised you're getting plus money there, but I think McIntyre could win, and I wouldn't be surprised if McIntyre did win again, actually.
He will be right there, and I have him for a top 10 on one of my golf bets for my placements, and I agree with you, and he'll be played at top 20. Anything with plus money with Robert McIntyre for a top 20 is a must-play. This guy shows up in events everywhere, all over the globe. He's one of the hotter players in the world. Like when JJ Spawn won Gabe, he was sitting there. Everyone was getting destroyed in the rain. McIntyre's sitting back going, okay, maybe we have a playoff here. And Spawn hit a miracle putt and got his game together with the final 2 holes. Like that could have been Robert McIntyre winning the U.S. Open. That's how good this guy is. Nobody's actually talking about him. He's won the Canadian Open before. Love the price. I only got plus 225 for a top 10. A must play at plus money for a top 20.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he was top 10 as well. All right. So what do you got for the Scottish Open? Who are your picks to win?
Yeah, I'm only doing I'm not doing 7 or 8 like this. I'm going to do 5. I'm starting with Colin Morikawa. He got a real caddy this week, a guy who's a real hard ass, and guys who've won the Claret Jug, the British Open. And it's like, dude, just play your links game. You've won an Open Championship before. People don't know. Colin Morikawa is actually a very good links player because he's creative, and this is going to be a good tournament for him. If he's not going to win this week, I'm going to take him probably next week at the Open. 28-1. Matthew Fitzpatrick, we talk about, from Britain, great links player. He's starting to come into form, Gabe. Not a great start to the first half of his year. Nobody's talking about McIntyre. Nobody's talking about Ryan Fox. This guy's won twice. The big New Zealander looks more like a Kiwis rugby player, man. This guy is a monster, and he's good at links golf. He's won multiple times on the European Tour. 65-1 is a great price. I got 2 Danes for you, Morency. It's hilarious, too. Rasmus Højgaard, the better of the Dane. He's got a brother, Nikolai Højgaard, but Rasmus is 70-1, also a great European Tour player. And this other guy, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, watch out for the hyphenations. I don't know how you get 2 Rasmuses. He's 100-1, also a great DP World Tour player, plays well on the links. So kind of to your earlier point, I'm taking not all the Schefflers and all the popular guys. My chalky pick, I guess, is Morikawa. But I also like a lot of these guys who play on the DP World Tour with experience with links golf. And I also have Tommy Fleetwood for a top 10 at plus 190, Robert McIntyre for a top 10 at plus 225. Top 20s include all plus money from 140 or better. Hovland, Sam Burns, Adam Scott, the veteran. He loves the Open Championship and the Scottish Open. And Brian Harman, who's actually won a British Open. Doesn't hit it very far, but straight and is a great putter. That's what you need, Morency. First round leaders, I got Fleetwood at 30, Morikawa at 32, Burns at 50, Aaron Rye at 60, another good links player. Justin Rose, remember he was the leader before? Old man Rose loves coming out of the gate hot. Why not at 90-1? And people who don't know, Laurie Cantor is a really good player on the European Tour, 100-1 first round leader. Those are my picks.
I like the Ryan Fox pick. As Cam stated, Ryan Fox playing great golf. He's already won 2 times on the tour already. And one thing I like about Fox and that angle is he's a player that played on the DP Tour. He's used to links golf. Like these European guys played a hell of a lot more links golf than the American players have. Oh, the American guys can play anywhere, but the Euros are just better at it. Let's just call it out for what it is. And like I said, it's a way of approaching it. And like Cam said, he doesn't have the Schefflers or the Rorys. I'm not, Scheffler wants to win any tournament he's in. You know what I mean? He's the type of person. He doesn't want to play poorly ever. But these guys, think about it, guys. Think about if you're a player and you're only judged by majors. You know what I mean? You judge yourself by majors. Everybody else judges yourself Scotty Scheffler could win the Shell Open or something, or the John Deere. No one will care. It's all right, well, man, he's good. But it's all right, I know what a surprise. He won, right? But you notice they don't win because they either don't play or they don't really care as much because, Cam, it's all about the majors. So the sport, guys will tweak their game the week before. There could be something, I got these new shoes, man. I got to wear these shoes this week and get used to them for next week. It's a lot like music. Right? You know what I mean? With your equipment, your gear. And if I hate to say it, but there's a reason why bands will often open a tour in Nebraska or something. They don't really care if it flops. It's basically you know what I mean? All right, let's play a couple of shows in these other little towns type thing. And before we're playing MSG in 5 nights, but we're going to have 4 or 5 shows under our belt first. It's the same thing with these events. A lot of the big name players, they don't really care. You know what I think a good comparison is, people? It's like the conference tournaments in the NCAA. If you're a top tier team and you're worried about winning a national championship, some coaches don't care if they lose early in their conference tournament. They're kind of happy. It's all right, I'm out of here earlier. We can go back home. We can practice for the real tournament next week that everybody cares about. No one cares about this. And I can focus and, I can sort of, hone in. But if you're a guy, Cam, that if you're a team that doesn't have we're not winning a national championship, suddenly the conference tournament becomes a bigger deal, like a piece of hardware. And I think the same thing in golf here. Like I said, I think someone in the 50, 60 to 1 range is probably going to win, not someone in the top 20 range.
To your point, you're right. Everybody who wants to step up will win, but guys who have a bigger goal of the Open Championship will be working on a few things. So those mid-tier guys, also, some guys need confidence, Gabe. They need to play that Lynx game again. They go from North America back to Scotland, whatever. Do I have this shot in my bag? Can I use this putter from 80 yards away? Because that's what they do. It's a very creative style of golf, right? Like you play guitar.
That's the thing, Cam, though. I think a lot of these guys will be more into, all right, I feel good about my swing than really the result. You know what I'm saying? I think that's their mindset.
Yes.
Let me play well, get into a groove. And then, next week we peak.
People will understand, too. You'll see a lot more putters from 100 yards away and stuff like that because wedges can get real dangerous in links golf. You play every club in your bag, so it's very good for the creative person. You're absolutely right. Guys are going to be working on some special shots.
Seems like the American guys are pretty much bad putters, too.
Some of them are. Actually, Morikawa is a bad putter, but that's the thing. That's why he's going to use a lot of different shots. Sure.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, is he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. The Wicked Wednesday continues. I am Gabriel Morency on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. We'll get back to some golf picks a little bit later on. We're tracking the baseball, soccer. We got basketball, CBL basketball, and Montreal was up by 15. Calgary have gone on a run. They've cut it to 8 right now to start the second half. It's a pure track meet. It's a good league. I've seen a lot of these leagues come and go over the years, and at first, it's always like, all right, there's a new league starting. And it's like, all right, good luck with that. But this, they're filling up arenas, and they've had 27 players sign in the NBA or with an NBA contract, 10-day contract, real contract. AJ Lawson just signed a 2-year deal with the Raptors. He played in this league. So more and more players are now saying, hey, you know what? I play well in this league. I can get a G League deal. And when you're in a G League, you're one step away from the NBA. So we'll keep our eye on this fun game going on. We'll keep our eye on the baseball. But let's talk some football, because football's around the corner right now. Let's bring in Guns Picks, who's pulling the trigger. He's breaking it down. Countdown to kickoff is on. Good to have you back, Guns. Good to see you. How you doing, Guns?
Man, it's been good. Just starting to get into the preparation of college football, and I'm just getting excited, reading the rosters, reading the depth charts, seeing all the transfers and everything, finding these spots like week 1, week 2, week 3. Man, I love college football. Can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of my favorite things to do. Some capping could be tedious sometimes, like the numbers game can be tedious and the daily grind can be tedious, etc. But yeah, Guns, the summertime, when you get to Phil Steele and the playbooks and you're looking at all the win totals and you see the schedules for the first time and everything looks so good, you're like, oh man, this team, no way they win 6 games. Oh, they're not winning 7. You get all fired up. It's a great time of the year. And I'm starting to do it right now. Hell, last night, it was the middle of the night. I'm like, yeah, let me look up a Nebraska schedule. There's a little bit of a buzz here about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And speaking of which, so you got Raiola is back. We all know about Matt Rule and what he does, year 3. And when he's with a program, everywhere he's been, he's turned things around. They do have some NIL money. They've gotten some decent recruits over the years. They have a 5-star quarterback now with some experience. And looking at their schedule, Guns, to me, it's like schedule when it comes to college football. And in some of these top-heavy conferences or big-time conferences, some teams dodge a lot of freaking bullets, man. And they don't, they don't have to play everybody. And Nebraska do not play the Ohio State Buckeyes, which if you're in the Big Ten, that's a pretty nice thing to say. They don't play the Oregon Ducks. They host Michigan, big-time game in week 4 or 5, whatever. I think it's week 4. Big-time game there. They do go to Penn State, but pretty much every tough game that Nebraska plays is actually in Lincoln, Guns. Looking at that schedule, I'm having a hard time not seeing them going over 7.5.
I can't disagree with you on that one. If you look at the Big Ten as a whole, a lot of the schedules that I saw, they have very weaker schedules, including Michigan is one of those teams that I really like. But when we look at Nebraska here, yeah, I think they got the luck of the draw as far as the schedule goes. They come off that nice win, a little bit of a motivational win, getting that bowl victory there with Dylan Raiola. Kind of looks like a quarterback in Kansas City that, we shall remain nameless, Pat Mahomes. But I think there is that dynamic of him getting to that next level. And when you have Matt Rule as the coach, you've seen the history with him. Everywhere he goes, it's year 2, year 3, you see him get over the hump and start building a team. And this Nebraska team really on paper looks very good, not just from a scheduling standpoint, but they're bringing back a lot of these key weapons that got them to the position of winning a bowl game. Now they have to get to the position of, okay, now can we get to a spot where we can get into the playoff, whether it's second or third, or we have 1 or 2 losses, that's enough to get into the playoff. I'm interested in seeing how this Nebraska team pulls it out here in the college football season this year.
One thing with Nebraska too, guys, it is a super tough place to play. It is. In a modern era, home field doesn't mean as much anymore, but Nebraska's hostile. You get bad weather. It's always packed. The crowd is super fired up, especially when they're good. So you look at their schedule, guys. So Nebraska, they open up with Cincinnati. Not an easy game. They're on the road. Okay, but they're better than Cincinnati. Then they host Akron. Then they host HCU. Matt Rule really wants to he's going all out. They play the Houston Christian Huskies. So they're going to win that game. So they're teeing that game up for week 4, Michigan. Michigan rolls in there, big time game. I'm a Michigan fan. I think Michigan will win this game, but I don't think it's easy. This is a toss-up game. We'll see what happens with Michigan and their quarterback situation early, but Michigan are freaking loaded as well. So let's say Michigan even wins that game, fine. So, all right, they got a loss there. Then it's Michigan State and Nebraska. Michigan State will be improved, but Nebraska's better. Nebraska at Maryland, toss-up game. Nebraska at Minnesota, toss-up. Let's give them one of them. Let's give them one loss there or two on the road. That's it, 2 losses only. Northwestern Nebraska is a win. They get USC in Nebraska, but it's November 1st, and the weather won't be nice in Lincoln on November 1st. Nebraska at UCLA, Nebraska at Penn State, and then they end Iowa at Nebraska. So I'm not saying it's a cupcake schedule, but I do see like 8 wins here. As far as Michigan, there's some tricky spots in the Michigan schedule, Guns. They open up with New Mexico. So, all right, they host New Mexico. Then they go to Norman, Oklahoma in week 2. I'm not a fan of this. So then they go to Norman, Oklahoma to get the Sooners. Then they host Central Michigan. Then they go to Nebraska. Then they host Wisconsin. Then they go to L.A. to play USC. They host the Washington Huskies. They go to East Lansing to play Michigan State. They host Purdue. They go to Northwestern. They go to Maryland. And then they end the season hosting the Ohio State Buckeyes. Michigan's win total for the record is 8.5, and we'll see if Guns thinks they're going to get to 9 wins. They better, considering how they're recruited.
Oh, I
They better.
I'll tell you about it after this.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're rolling along here. Quickest 120 minutes of sports talk and television. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. Guns Picks in the house with us, Cam Stewart, as well. So we're just talking about Nebraska and looking at their schedule. If you look at Illinois, guys, Illinois, a very experienced football team. Altmaier is a better quarterback than people realize. Kid had like 22 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions last year. And he's one of these QBs that he's not going to blow you away, but he's got a lot of experience now. And he's a smart quarterback. And Bielema's a really good coach. And he's got this thing just sort of brewing, a really physical team. They beat Michigan last year. They had a 21-17 win to end the season in the Citrus Bowl against South Carolina in a very physical game. They open up with Western Illinois. Then it's Illinois at Duke. Then it's Western Michigan at Illinois. Illinois at Indiana. USC at Illinois. Illinois Purdue. Ohio State, Illinois. Illinois at Washington. Rutgers at Illinois. Maryland, Illinois. Illinois, Wisconsin. Northwestern Illinois. Yeah, there's a couple of landmines in this schedule here, Guns. But what are your thoughts on this Illinois team? Because I'm pretty bullish on them, actually. I'm not sure they make the playoffs, but I like their season win total to go over.
Yeah, I think that's the way I would go with this one too. I would not take the under on this team. I think Brett Bielema has done a very good job with that team, kind of turning it and molding it into that Big Ten team he had over at Wisconsin. But Altmaier, kind of that surprise quarterback that really did well. Maybe had a little bit of a favorable schedule along the way, but they did win their bowl game, so they have that motivation going into the next season. They're bringing back a lot of returning starters to this lineup, so a lot of guys that want to come in there and win. And you look at their schedule, very favorable. A lot of these Big Ten teams, there's probably 5 or 6 of them that are on that upper tier that are pretty much going to win against the rest of the pack. And Illinois should be considered in one of those positions. Maybe take even a flyer to even get to the Big Ten championship. Who knows? I'm not saying to put a lot of money, maybe a little pizza money on that. But I think this team is in a position schedule wise to be in a spot if, say, a Michigan messes up or an Ohio State messes up and doesn't be able, or Oregon for that matter, to messes up and doesn't get to the championship. Maybe there's an Illinois that can sneak in there. That's the team that can sneak into the Big Ten championship if there's anything. I like Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon, but that Illinois team, you can't sleep on them.
I'm a big Dan Lanning fan. I think he's a great coach. I do have my concerns about the Ducks. They haven't had a great recruiting class like the last 2 years. So they've had some holdover players, and he's gone after people, but it hasn't been a great run. And Dante Moore is one of these quarterbacks that, he's a 5-star kid from like 3 years ago. And, he went to USC, didn't want to sit and play. And then, I'm going to go to Oregon. And then he ends up sitting. So he hasn't played. So, he's very experienced. He's been waiting behind everybody. Now it's his turn. We'll see. I'm not saying the Ducks are going to blow up or anything like that, but I'm not sure it's their year. Just as far as Michigan, too, guys. And Guns, you said, you think Michigan make the playoffs. And like I said, dude, their win total is 8.5, but it's like, minus 140 the over or something like that. If Michigan probably going to win 10 games this year. As a Michigan fan, I sort of think, yeah, this is, maybe better, but I'd be disappointed if they're not 10-2 or better. And I know, Cam knows, and everyone tuning in knows right now tuning in. If Michigan go 10-2, Guns, they're in the playoffs. I think you're better off just taking a plus 200 to make the playoffs than playing like that 8.5, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you. I think this Michigan team was missing one key component, and that was the quarterback. They couldn't move the ball. They were very just one-dimensional, ran the ball as much as possible, and the defense had to do so much work to keep them in games. It was reluctant to even get bowl eligible, and then they got bowl eligible, and the luck of the Michigan Wolverines, it poured rain, made the whole field.
We beat Alabama again 2 years in a row.
So good, right? But that's a key component here. Is like they lost so many people from that national championship.
But remember,
team.
Guns, too, and you talk about carryovers. Michigan beat Alabama and Jalen Milroe and their starters for the most part. And Michigan literally started like 17 kids for the first time ever. Remember, everyone left. And it was like, after the game, it was like, man, that's going to be one scary-ass team next year, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
And they got the quarterback. This Underwood, if he's really legitimately going to be the starter day one, he's a 5-star, number 1 recruit. He's going to run that offense. He's got an elite running core, great offensive line. Now the offense is cooking, and that defense is going to be just fine. I'm telling you, Michigan is the team to watch this year, and I would think they're overs and futures.
Plus 200 to make the playoffs.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag, and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Right, this is SportsRage Riddle Level 2, and I hate to say it as a Wolverine fan. I got to start getting some college football gear back up on the set, but Michigan's passing attack last year was anemic. Like, it was literally ranked like 126 out of 132 or whatever. Like, it was bad. Like, Army and Navy were better at passing the ball than Michigan were. Like, it was a freaking adventure. Except in that last bowl game that Guns Pick talked about it. Davis Warren, I mean, the poor kid had leukemia. He comes back. Everybody rips him. He's terrible. He gets benched. Basically, it came down to, like, nobody wanted to play. Like, Michigan, like, had no one left. It was like, all right, you know what? Let's send Davis Warren out here, like, one last game. Like, kid starts throwing bullets against Alabama. You know, ends his career with a nice win there. Good for him. But Michigan stocked up. So they got Underwood, the number 1 recruit, that they paid $2.5 million for a year. 10 years if he plays all 4, but he won't. And he got all kinds of other perks too. Like, he got a lot. And then they brought in Leach from Fresno, who I actually like, but he got hurt in camp. But he's recovering. He's getting better. But they wanted some depth at quarterback this year. Like Gunn said, like, they're a national championship caliber team. They just need quarterback play, and like, they don't even need great quarterback play. They just need adequate quarterback play. You give them great quarterback play, and they're going to be a real bitch to play against. So they brought in a kid from East Carolina now as well that's experienced. So, you know, I feel pretty good about it. I'm not overly happy about that trip to Norman in week 2, but I think they can dodge that bullet. Your Notre Dame Fighting Irish are minus 160 to make the playoffs. And I tell you what, I don't see any reason why they're not back in the playoffs. Minus 160. What are your thoughts on your Irish team this year, Guns?
I think if they can get past the first 7 weeks of the schedule, which is going to be the toughest part of their schedule, they're going to be just fine. And you're going to be able to cash that over wins ticket and probably cash that them getting to the playoffs too. 7 starters back on the offense and defense. They're stacked, especially their running back core, all back on this one. Jeremiah Love, Jajarian Price, Aeneas Williams. They're all back on this one. Plus, the wide
Love was hurt last year in the playoffs too. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they got him back. Yeah.
He's considered the number 1 running back in the preseason rankings right now. Then the wide receiver core gets better. They go to the transfer portal. They get Malachi Fields from UVA, so give him a deep threat. They got Jaden Greathouse, who played elite in the playoffs, and then Will Paulding from Wisconsin. So they're getting better on that. Offensive line, they were so banged up by the end of the playoffs on the So that brought experience in for a lot of these guys that had to play in key games. They're coming back. They lost 3 starters, but they're going to be just fine. Their defense is going to be just fine. Secondary is absolutely great. Watson Morrison are gone. Gray's back. Leonard Moore's back. Adon Schuler is an elite weapon. Their concern is the pass rush. The defensive line is going to take a step back, but the linebacker core, they got better. They got a transfer from Alabama, Devontae Smith. I'm telling you, this team is absolutely loaded once again and going to make a push, not only to make the playoffs, but I think this team has a chance to win the national championship. I know I'm a fan. Yeah.
But you're realistic. They're that good. 160 is a steal, Gabe. Don't you think? Like minus 160 for Notre Dame? How are they not getting?
Well, they have it, and I know it's expanded, but they have it in stone, whatever. As long as they're in the top 12, they're in the playoffs. Exactly. So I believe they're going to be in the top 12 pretty much on a yearly basis right now, the way they built it. Like you said, Guts, that schedule, you got some names. You got names on it, but at the same point in time, you look at it, it's like, yeah, you know what? Tough game, but they'll probably win it. Like Notre Dame opened up the season at Miami, Florida. That's a big-time game. You got Carson Beck, who's projected by the NFL scouts #1 right now. I don't agree with that, but that's who they have as the best college quarterback. So Beck got big money. He got like $4 million or something to go to Miami. He left Georgia. He was hurt last year. So you open up Notre Dame and Florida, but as a betting man, I would take Notre Dame in that game. Then you host A&M. So you know what? You could win that game. You know, that's how bad.
You get a bye before that game, too. You play week 3, so they get a week's rest after week 1. It's crazy.
Purdue are freaking terrible. They're like a high school team now. So you got Purdue on the 20th. Notre Dame at Arkansas, not an easy game, but Notre Dame are better than Arkansas, right? Like, so they should win, not easily, but it'll be a battle. Boise State at Notre Dame, not an easy game, but Notre Dame should grind it through. NC State at Notre Dame, winnable. USC, Notre Dame, winnable. Notre Dame, Boston College, winnable. Navy, Notre Dame, winnable. Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, winnable. Syracuse, Notre Dame, winnable. Notre Dame, Stanford, winnable. I mean, how do you feel about this? Once I brought up 10-2 for Michigan. I mean, you look at his schedule, and it kind of feels like an 11-1 type of deal for Notre Dame here, to be honest.
Yeah, they can get one loss out of Texas A&M in Miami, and I think they could just win out. They're going to be a favorite in every single game that they're in this year.
They have lost early in the past, right, Guns? That's sort of their MO with Freeman, right? They lose early, and then they go on a 9-game win streak.
Early after a big game. So like Texas A&M last year, then they go play NIU, and they lose because they just have a brain fart. And then next thing you know, they just run the table. Sometimes they need that humbling by some certain team. Is that Boise State? They play a lot of these key opponents at home. So that's going to be huge on that one, except for Arkansas and except for Miami. Those are the only key road games that they're going to have to win. But everything else on the schedule just looks like they're going to be double-digit favorites in all of them. So, yeah, I mean, if you're taking that minus 160, there's a reason why it's minus money for them to make the playoffs, is because their schedule is a lot easier than it was the year prior.
Cam, is there a team you want to ask Guns about?
Yes, I'd like to ask you guys both. We talk about the strength of, the Big Ten. How about my Washington Huskies, Gabe, since we're not in the old Pac-2 anymore with Washington State and Oregon State, the Beavers and Cougs? How about Washington with a hot quarterback, a better team? You know, we got Fish a couple more years with the program. How do you think about the Washington Huskies? I know a lot of people are bullish on them, and I really like the Huskies a lot.
I'll say I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I'll just say I don't think the Huskies are a playoff team yet. I think Fish still needs a couple of years, and with his players, they weren't his players last year in Seattle, right? I mean, and don't forget, so DeBoer's there. Washington really good 2 years ago. They go to the championship game. They lose a bunch of players to the NFL. DeBoer took a bunch of players with him to Alabama. So Fish kind of inherited an empty cupboard compared to what they were. Didn't have a quarterback that played his style. Now he's got Desmond Williams in here, who is going to be a stud, this kid. Great young quarterback that they have now. Win total 7.5. I think that's very manageable. Schedule's not easy for the Huskies, but I think they're going in the right direction. What are your thoughts, Guns, on the Washington Huskies?
Yeah, I think when DeBoer left, I mean, you're in full rebuild. It's going to take this team 3 to 4 years. It's like when you bring in a new coach, as long as that coach is sustainable and they keep him in the program, it's going to take him on year 3 for him to be, okay, this is his team. I think he's in year 2, so that's kind of, they're not there yet. But I think they're on that bowl eligible cusp. I think the win total on that one is a little bit suspiciously high. I think that's probably because the Big Ten has a lot of weak teams in that one where Washington could probably sneak a win. There's some teams like Michigan, for example, that probably is going to stomp Washington, unfortunately, because Michigan wants that pound of flesh after losing on the road to them last year. So that was one of those games that I looked at. I'm like, Michigan's probably going to get a high line on that one. So I'm looking at spots to bet maybe against Washington, but I haven't got there to see how far or how strong that team is. I'll know in the first 4 weeks if the team is going to be bowl eligible or just be another lower tier team in the Big Ten.
So notable win totals, guys. Alabama 9.5, minus 110. So Alabama's at 9.5. Air Force 5.5. Over is minus 170. Under plus 140. Arkansas 5.5. Always intrigued by Arkansas because they have low totals. All right, we'll wrap up with guns on the other side.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Deion Sanders had his media day today. And this is a football team that you want to talk about recruiting. Deion is popular with the media and stuff, but he's not super popular. Like kids aren't lining up to go play for him. We'll put it that way. And the problem is Colorado also barely have money to pay Deion. Like, seriously, remember the guy admitted, we don't even have all the money. And he said, we'll raise it, we'll find a way to pay Deion. But Like they don't have enough to throw around at the recruits. So they got the quarterback Lewis that they stole from USC. So good job. They got like a 4 or 5 star blue chip quarterback. Word is he's not really ready, right? Like to throw in here. I'm looking at their win total here, Guns, and I was pro Colorado in the past. I'm not one of these, I want to see them fail or anything. I bet on them, and you know what I mean? I took their win total over last year. Like I've won with Colorado, but I think now that they've lost, like people can laugh at Shador going in the 4th or 5th round all they want. He was a freaking good college quarterback that carried that football team. All right. Like they lose Travis Hunter, they lose Shador, their defense already sucks. Like, how the hell is this team winning 7 games, Guns? I don't think they can.
I think that's too high. The problem with Shador is just an elite athlete in college football. He was able to scramble and buy time and make these fluke plays. And I thought they got lucky at a lot of those wins. I was a guy that I've been very fading Colorado for probably 2 years now. And I've, had egg on my face because they've had Travis Hunter and they've had Shador Sanders that have just pulled things out for them. But that offensive line has been a significant problem for them for 2 years. And if you're going to bring in a new quarterback and you're not going to give him the protection, that is an issue. And a lot of teams will just pull up, rush him, and that team's going to want to pass the ball a lot. That's going to be trouble for the quarterback. And I think there's going to be a lot of grass stains on his butt, on his back, and he may have a few injuries to go along with it. Hopefully he has some depth in that quarterback because that has always been a continually problem at Colorado. I think there's just better teams in the conference than Colorado. I'm not backing them whatsoever, and I haven't heard I haven't seen them bring in a lot of good recruits except for, of course, the quarterback that you mentioned, Gabe.
And that was last year, right? Like they got murdered in this year's class for players that are going to go there next year. Like Dion's going to have a problem moving forward here. And you look at their schedule, guys, they're in trouble. Like they open up with Georgia Tech. The game's in Boulder. Okay. So what? Like Georgia Tech are pretty good. And Haynes King is back. So Haynes King is back at quarterback. So you want to talk about an experienced quarterback. Haynes King is back. I'd say Georgia Tech win that game. They host Delaware. That won't even be easy for them. Like, you know what I mean? Like Delaware are like a good team.
Fighting Blue Hens plus the points?
Yeah. Yeah. Joe Flacco.
Rich Gannon.
So they'll Colorado win that game. But then Colorado at Houston. All right, Houston are going to be good. Like they got Connor Wegman at quarterback. They got Fritz. Like this thing's going in the right direction. Houston are going to beat Colorado. All right, Wyoming at Colorado's a toss-up. BYU at Colorado's not going to end well for Colorado. Like BYU is going to murder them. Colorado at TCU will be a problem. Iowa State at Colorado will be a problem for them. Colorado at Utah is a big problem for them. Arizona, okay, kind of a toss-up game. They got to go to West Virginia November the 8th. I don't think they're beating the Mountaineers there. They get Arizona State at Colorado. Colorado ends the season at K-State. I mean, looking at this, Guns, this is like a 4-8 football team.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised their win total is so high. I mean, the previous couple years it's been like 5.
Yeah, you're right. It should be 5.5 instead of 6.5.
And now it's gone up. It's like, why has it gone up? That's a little bit concerning to me. It's like the books maybe trying to bait a few unders, or maybe just taking a lot of the public money that is going to just be taking Colorado blindly. I just want to see what's in their head for why did you raise the number up to 7.5? That's pretty interesting to me. Yeah, it may be one of those totals that I just don't touch because I think there's something fishy about it.
I'll touch it. I'll hit it.
Touch the fish.
That
total's way off. Actually, you gave me that schedule game. I could see them winning like 3 games. Like that's like 4 is even. Like they could lose a lot of those games. That's not good. There's no way they're winning 6 games. No way.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Why is it? It should be 5, 4.5. I was like, why is it 7.5?
If Dion gets this team into a bowl game this year at 6-6, I'll tip my cap and say, hell of a job, Dion. Like that's what you look. I look at this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally.
Like go 7-5. Not easy. Yeah. Like I said, the schedule's tough. Like they didn't get like Gunn said, man. Every year as a college football fan, you sort of just hope for the best, how the cards get spit out with your schedule. right? And it does matter. I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, look, we're not playing here. We're not playing there. We don't play them. We don't play them. Indiana last year had a very favorable Big Ten schedule, and it really helped them, right? It can really help you wrap it up. All right, before we get guns out of here, he's rocking the Boston Red Sox hat. And listen, everyone's talking about the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays finally lost. Their 10-game win streak came to an end today against the White Sox. But I brought it up like earlier in the week. I've been talking about this, and people have sort of forgotten about the Red Sox. And the Yankees have won a couple of games again, so the Yankees get back on track. But I told people earlier in the week when we were looking at the division picture, I said, man, don't write the Red Sox off. I think they've got a winning streak in them. Now it's up to 6 guns for the Red Sox, and you got another series before the All-Star break.
Yeah, the concern that I have with this Boston team is go look at their schedule. Look who they beat. Cincinnati, Washington, and Colorado. Last time I checked, Washington's in last place in their division. Cincinnati's in 4th in their division, and Colorado's the worst team in Major League Baseball. That's where the win streak came from. So let's pump the brakes. They've beaten pretty much below 500 teams. That's how they came out with that huge start earlier in the season.
So you're saying they can't beat good teams.
So you're saying
they only beat bad teams.
Yeah.
This is going to be they're going to play Tampa Bay this weekend. And that is going to be the deciding factor of where the team is going to be. If this is a big series for them, they should absolutely win this series and then go into the All-Star break with a little bit of momentum.
Guns Picks. Check him out on X at Guns Picks. Check out his YouTube page as well. Great to catch up with you, Guns. Awesome stuff as always, bro.
Absolutely.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The pits, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them. Awesome stuff with Guns Pick talking college football. It's coming up. It's around the corner. College football kicks off August 23rd this year. Not every team, but that is week 0 this year, which I'm all for. Bring it on. This is one of the earlier starts that I could remember. Like sometimes you'll get like August 26th, 27th type of deal, but This year, it just happens to work out that we get college football August the 23rd. In fact, Iowa State and Kansas State get the season started this year. It's pretty cool. Iowa State, Kansas State, which is surprising, actually. You get conference action right in week one. That's tough for those teams. Fresno State and Kansas, week 0, so August 23rd. Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky, those are normally the games that are in week 0. And I would say it's the late night bailout special, but it's at 7:30 Eastern time, so it isn't. But Stanford go to Hawaii. Stanford -2.5 against the Rainbow Warriors, total 50.5. Then Thursday, August 28th, we've got some cool games. Boise State, South Florida, Buffalo, Minnesota, Nebraska, Cincinnati. Then Friday, there's games. Wow, there's a full slate of games. Friday, August 29th, Auburn and Baylor, Western Michigan, Michigan State, UNLV, Sam Houston State, Georgia Tech, Colorado. Can't wait for all this stuff. And then Saturday, August the 30th, it's like go time for real. Tennessee at Syracuse at noon Eastern. Texas at Ohio State at noon Eastern. Alabama, Florida State, 3:30 Eastern. LSU and Clemson on Saturday night. 7:30, Clemson, 3-point favorites against LSU. Massive football game to start the season. The Michigan Wolverines start their season Saturday night, August 30th, 7:30 Eastern time. Michigan, -34.5, hosting Sheriff Lobo and the Lobos for New Mexico. Total, 52.5. I'll tell you right now, just quickly with this game, I would say take the under here at 52.5. New Mexico won't score. And, our Michigan, so basically you look at that, it's like, all right, are Michigan really going to get to 55? Are they going to beat them 55-0? Probably not. Sharon Moore, I don't think, they're playing Oklahoma the following week. Michigan wins 45-0 type of deal, 42-0. I don't think the Lobos will put any points up on the board, literally and figuratively. So team totals, that'll be something we take a look at. But all right, let's get to the best of X's. Last night, we showed you the ultimate golf fight on the golf course with Nick Taransky, the hockey player, beating up the golfer. And it's gone viral. Everybody's talking about it. Hell, it was on CNN.com, actually. So, it's like national news services are picking it up. So this guy's getting mocked globally. Let's roll it. Best of X. Here's a beautiful. Now you got paintings of it. That's just a work of art right there. It's a Canadian heritage moment. Should be TV commercials in years moving forward. Nuclear Golf says, "Hang it in the Louvre. Hang it in the Louvre." Really well done too. It looks like the dude flying through the air. Real great photo. Like I said, it almost looks Photoshop, but it's actually real. It's one of the coolest things ever. And you can watch this thing. You can watch this thing over and over, and it doesn't get old, actually. All right. See, I roll the next one here. This one, seriously, I don't know what the hell. Let's go with the Carolina Hurricanes here. I don't know what the hell the Carolina Hurricanes are thinking. And I get it that, NBA logos, a lot of the NBA logos look the same, right? It's sort of like, well, what do you want them to do? There's a basketball and there's this and that. And a lot of the logos look similar, but the Carolina Hurricanes, just ripped off the Montreal Canadiens.
So Canadian, I know the back one's the worst.
If you looked at that hat, you'd be like, oh, that's a Canadiens hat. That's a Montreal Canadiens hat.
That's
but the Carolina Hurricanes hat,
I got a problem with this. Big time. You're right, man. Yeah. That's wrong.
If I'm the Canadians, I'm talking to Bettman, and I'm telling them, they got to stop selling those. This is copyright infringement.
Look at the ones in the back with the red and the H. What are these guys doing? That is a straight.
Carolina. Come up with your own logo, guys. Come on, man.
Seriously.
Once again, I can't believe someone in the boardroom didn't say, hey, doesn't that kind of look like the Montreal Canadiens logo? That's like ripping off the Yankees logo and saying, oh, what? Look at our new logo. It's it's not new. That's not their logo.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What are you, 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year at Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle. But as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. Gabriel Morency. So the Calgary Surge were 7.5-point favorites. They were losing 62-47 at the half, and they just won the game 107-92. Like, they absolutely murdered them in the second half. And I'll tell you what, for like bettors out there, and I follow this league, Cam, I'd bet on it more if it was more accessible. And I had a hard time signing up, actually, with one of the sites that, like, has it. And Bet365, FanDuel does not have it. Bet365 does, but they don't have every game, so it's one of those deals. Like, but I've caught on. Like, Bet365 does the nationally televised games. But I'm telling you what, like, the total was 174.5, and what did I say, 107-92. So you get the picture. Like last week, same thing. We bet the TV game to the over. It went over by like 30 points. Like, this league is a track meet, and you get the Elam ending too. So it's the first two after. So you get more points after and stuff, but very exciting, fun quality basketball. Looks like they got a good environment in the arena there in Calgary. So, we just put that hat up again. We were showing you this hat. The Carolina Hurricanes are selling. They just announced this hat that basically, like, it's once again, it's like music, right? There's only 7 notes in music. So, like, stuff is going to be the same sometimes. Like, it's a sports hat. So, what do you want? Like, but this is just blatant. Like, it's not a coincidence. It's not like, oh, yeah, a little bit. No, it's like a lot. It looks like the Canadian Hockey Club, like CH. Like, just point blank. Like, like, if you're the Carolina Hurricanes, I like what Canadian fans are saying, that they should give up Sebastian Aho as a payment for the copyright infringement.
Good deal.
I'm curious to see what happens with this hat if they continue with it. Remember they released the baseball hats earlier this year that had anal on it and had all kinds of, like, there was FU or whatever. Like, there was all kinds of weird things on the hat. They released them and then they pulled them. They realized, we can't do this. We've got to, like. And I'll tell you what, if there's a brand and a company that does not mess around when it comes to copyright infringement, it's the Canadians, man. Like, you might as well be like trying to steal a Marvel like logo or something. Like, the Canadians lawyers are going to be all over this. I would. Like I said, I could live with coincidence And yeah, whatever. It looks the same, but they have, it's the same name, Carolina Hurricanes, Canadian hockey, whatever. But the way that they did it with the CH, like, I'm amazed that someone in the Carolina room did not say, hey, listen, that looks way too much like the Montreal Canadiens. It's like if you're a band and you just like rip off Metallica's logo and say, hey, look at our new hat. And you have like the M and the A at the end. It's like,
it's got like lightning in there. It's
not really yours. Like, but okay. Hey, look at my new Homicide T-shirt. Like, ride the lightning. Yeah, look at this. Hey,
come on,
come up with something on your own, Carolina. That's, you know what I mean? The quality of sports merchandise is really bad now, though. And people always blame Fanatics all the time, like when they took over, they're the quality and stuff, but it's not them. Like, and I'm not defending them, but I'm saying that, like, they don't make this stuff. They just sell it. So, like, you'll notice, like, the All-Star designs are bad. The NBA logos are bad. NBA new jerseys are bad. Everything's bad. Like, it's like, really? Like, this is what you guys are paying? Like, this is what, like, top designers come up with nowadays? It always looks like a child did it. It's incomplete. Right, like, and this doesn't look like it's incomplete. It just looks like you ripped off another team's like hat. So, do better, Carolina. Do better. All right, I believe we got one last best of X here. Actually, this is a good one. It's a nice looking house here.
Holy.
So this is the Fisher guy that owns the Athletic baseball team. He just bought a new house in Vegas, $29 million, this house, which is basically like 10 times more than he pays any of his players. Like, think about like Shohei Ohtani's the highest paid player. All right. He's making like $70 million a year on the Dodgers. Like the owner of the Dodgers house, like isn't $150 million. You know what I mean? Like basically this Fisher guy, he really is like a king and everyone else like a peasant. I won't spend any money on the baseball team at all. I won't spend any money on the team, but you know what? I am going to buy myself and I'm going to get the people in Nevada to pay for my stadium. And I'm never going to try to win when I move there, but I'm going to make money anyways. But you know what? I'll spend my own $29 million on a house. I'm looking right now at their highest paid player. All right, their highest paid player, Brent Rooker makes $4 million this year.
Great.
He's their highest paid player. Think about that. Now, Rooker's contract does exponentially go up. They actually just signed him. So next year he makes 8, then he makes 14, then he makes 15, then he makes 19. So whatever, it goes up. 4-year deal, $60 million. But the owner just bought a house for $29 million. And all of his players, like I'm looking at their salaries, $1.8 million, like 1.2, 1.4. Like basically everybody makes just above the league minimum on the Athletics. Yet the owner just bought a $29 million house in Vegas. It's not as nice as Ian Cameron's house is, though, in Dundas.
Not even close.
We'd like to see a picture of your place, Babano. All we see is your dungeon here, your Hamilton dungeon. We'd like to see the yard, the outside and stuff.
Yeah, foliage.
It's not spectacular. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about.
Nothing spectacular?
Yeah,
that's why you don't do videos outside? You don't do videos in the backyard?
Maybe I did a few years ago. A couple of years ago, I did a couple on the patio, honestly. But
I'm not saying anything. My place is horrible.
You guys know. The Wi-Fi is a little spotty out there.
little choppy?
A little choppy, yeah. Just like my picks tonight. Little choppy.
Yeah.
I watched, there's a good show on, it's called The Dark Side of Wrestling, the Vice wrestling series. And it's on at like 2 a.m. or stuff, like on different stations and whatever. But it's really well done. It's Chris Jericho's like the producer of it. And it's like the history of not like Hulk Hogan and stuff, but like really interesting, like crazy wrestling stories. And last night there was a story of a wrestler in the 80s. He was a WWF jobber. He used to lose all the time to everybody. But behind the scenes, he was a Hamiltonian Satan's Choice gang member. And he blew up the police station in Sudbury. Johnny Canine It was a story of Johnny Canine, and
what a name!
They had, that was his name, Johnny Canine. They asked him, "How'd you get your name?" And he goes, "I got arrested once, and I was in a SWAT van, and I got attacked by a canine dog." So he goes, "I thought that'd be a good wrestling name, Johnny Canine."
Johnny Canine was okay. Like, I remember Johnny Canine actually. That guy was like around a lot. You're right. He's a little bit more of a jobber, Gabe, but he lost a lot, but he won a couple of times.
He didn't like it. He didn't like it. Like, he lost to everybody and stuff, but he got let go after a few years of like being a jobber in the WWF, and he got a lot bigger. And then he became like an independent wrestling guy. Smoky Mountain. He wrestled with Jim Cornette, but it was funny because like the story, they're like, yeah, Jim Cornette was like, yeah, this Johnny Canine was one of the craziest guys I ever met in the wrestling business, but he was super nice. And he goes, I swear I would bet $1 million I never would have guessed that he would have blown up a police station with dynamite. like everyone that talked about it, they're like, oh, he's such a sweetheart. And then they're like, I was really surprised when I found out he killed 9 people. Everybody said the same thing. They're like, he was a big teddy bear, but there was that time that there was 4 missing people. And like, he ended up going to jail on all these like gang murders and stuff like that. But like SGA, Gilgis Alexander from the Hamilton area, Johnny Canine, SGA, and Ian Cameron, the famous brethren.
Yeah, fabulous Freebirds.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What are you, 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Well, the Vancouver Whitecaps are getting all that they can handle from the Valor right now. We're in the 77th minute, and it's still scoreless. And they're tied at 2 on aggregate. So, like, it's getting real. Montreal was already eliminated by a CSL team.
Gabe, but shout out to the Forge FC here in the Hamilton, getting it done there.
Yeah, everything's coming up the Hammer battle. Like, what a win. Like, it's a big time deal, like, to knock off, like, an like, man, he beat the Impact and eliminated them. Like, they're not happy in Montreal. Like, they want to fire people, but they fire people every week there. So, like, they're out of people to hire. Like,
honestly,
like,
Hamilton Forge FC,
we're already on our third coach. So
that team's been the best pro sports team in this city for like the last 5-6 years, honestly. Easily.
Now, I'm not saying Hamilton is going to get an MLS team because they won't. Like, you need a bigger, like, you know what I mean? Right. But this is how, they could actually. I'm saying never. But if someone put up the money up. But it's a big deal, though. Like I said, like the San Diego team that's in MLS right now, like they came up through this. Like you said, Babano, like, like you see these teams, the Cavalry, the Forge.
Too, multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you come up and then you show, hey, listen, we can beat MLS teams and we draw 15,000, 18,000 people a game. And then next thing you know, your application's on their desk. Hey, you know what? Maybe you are an MLS market in a big, like a lot of these teams. Austin's another one. You got to sort of earn it. Like they don't have a relegation and promotion, but in a way no one gets relegated, but you can get promoted. I guess that's the best way of putting it. Did Vancouver just score late? They did. Oh boy! All right, good for them because this, like, it'd be embarrassing for Vancouver. Like they're one of the best teams in MLS, and they're actually trying. They played their MLS guys tonight. But yeah, the Valor battling, and even Babano dropping a Forge reference here. All right, so let's get to the CFL. We got 3 games this week only. Friday Night Football, Babano, Stampeders, Riders. What are you doing with this game?
Yeah, this is a great game. And Calgary is one of these teams where I actually liked the spot for Calgary last week against Winnipeg, and they got it done. Vernon Adams was good. The defense was awesome. I don't know where the Calgary got this improved defense from because they've got all new faces on that side of the ball. It was a horrible defense a year ago, and yet you see the plays they're making. They not only got 1, but 2 pick sixes last week off Zach Collaros. It was very, very impressive. It's not
CFL, though, Babano. You know this. The CFL is a lot like college football.
Yeah.
In that a lot of teams every year will be like, we've got like 8 new dudes on defense this year. And sometimes it really implodes and it's like, wow, this is bad. And other times it's like, yeah. And I heard it during camp, Babano. Dickinson was honest. He's a very honest guy. Remember Dickinson said, he goes, dude, we're going to have 12 new starters on the field probably, 11 or 12 new starters on defense. And he goes, how is it going to work out? He goes, I don't know. He goes, either really good or really bad. But I remember he even said in camp, he goes, I'll tell you what, though, they look pretty effing good. That's what he said. He goes, I don't know. We'll see when we start playing for real, but they look pretty good in practice to me. That's what Dickinson said.
They looked really good last week. That being said, that was a great performance. It was at home, though. You're going into the Lions Den. You're going to Mosaic. You're going to Regina.
BC Place is the Lions Den. Let's not mix this up here.
Do you know what I mean? It's a tough place.
You're going into
Riders are off.
You're going into Melon Headland. You're going to the watermelons.
And by the way, Corey Mace, I made sure I looked at this. I wanted to see how he did off a bye last year. He was 2-0 in his games off a bye week last year, straight up in ATS, including a win at Calgary coming off a bye. I think it was in September, 37-29. So I like the way the Riders are playing. They're getting healthier. They did have a lot of injuries going into the bye week, and they're going to get some of those guys back, especially along the O-line. They're 4-0 straight up and against the spread. Calgary celebrated that win last week, guys, like they won a Grey Cup, that Stampede Bowl, as it was termed. They gave them a trophy for it. I think this is a troublesome spot, at least for me, with Calgary, for as impressive as they've been. So I like the Riders here. I'm going to go spread -4.5, split it with the team total, which you can get it over 27.5. They've scored 28+ in every game, Saskatchewan. And if that holds true to form, they're going to cash their team total here once again.
I want to start smashing things here as the Valor just scored. The Whitecaps took a 1-0 lead. Now the Valor just tied it up in the 85th minute right now at BC. Yeah, they're in this thing. I was worried about this, but I thought since the Whitecaps were playing their starters, they would be able to pull away. But man, it's a freaking battle right now. So 1-1 there. Cam, what's your pick for the Riders and the Stampeder game?
It's tough. I really want to go back to Calgary, but Babano brings up good points. A little bit. We were all on Calgary that night. We had a money line against Winnipeg. It turned out great for all of us, but Saskatchewan's a different beast on the road. Yes, Gabe. I think there'll be points in this game, and I'm leaning Riders, but I don't love it. I really want to take the dog, but it's going to be tough for Calgary to go back to back.
I'm going to take the Stampeders. I've been riding the Stamps.
Yep.
I think the point. No, there's enough points now. The spread keeps climbing. There's enough points to get interested here in the point spread. And if you take away the BC game that BC went to Regina and lost, the BC were in that game in the first half and Masoli threw a pick six right before the end of the first half on the last play.
Changed the game. Totally changed.
Yeah, changed the game. And Babano, if you look at it, that's the only game Saskatchewan's blown anyone out in. You were at the Ticat game. It was close. The Toronto game on TV there, man, the Luke Wilson game that he hated, they won on a kickoff return at the end of the game. The Ottawa game that starts the season, they only won by 5. Right? Like they haven't blown teams out, with the exception of the BC Lions in the second half of one game. All right, what about
counter to that is that BC game? Jake Mayer was at quarterback, and I don't think he was very good.
Good
he
point.
was mistake-free. He played a clean game, but he still wasn't great. He wasn't lighting it up. And now you get Trevor Harris back, who has been lighting it up so far this year.
I don't dispute that as far as Jake Mayer. The only bad games in the CFL this year have been the backup quarterback games. When the starters have played, it's been very entertaining. So speaking of which, listen, I didn't think Bo Levi Mitchell had it in him, Babano, but he's playing elite football right now. You guys, this is the best football that the Tigers have played in a couple of years, the last 2 weeks. But do they cover, laying 5.5 now? Spread is up to 5.5. And told you guys when the number came out earlier in the week, this total is going to end up being like 56 by kickoff, 56.5, up to 54.5 right now and climbing.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What are you, 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag, and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're to the home stretch here. We got Ian Cameron in the house with us. I'm looking here at the soccer game. The Whitecaps, they score. All right, they avert disaster. They just scored in the 89th minute. This ain't easy. And they actually don't have their starters on the pitch right now. I saw that they started Brian White and stuff, but it's all their backups. The coach of the Whitecaps literally just looks like he has a $100,000 bet on this game. But the coach of the Whitecaps is like, oh, thank God. Like, this would have been a disaster for them to lose this game. But we'll see if they can hang on. I mean, it just took a 1-0 lead and they gave it up. But 2-1 for the Whitecaps, and don't forget we gave that parlay earlier. Calgary Surge and the Whitecaps, an all-Canadian special tonight. And the Surge get it done. But, man, have you ever bet the CEBL? I'm telling you, man, it's a high-scoring league. These overs keep cashing.
Yeah, and I like that league. I watch it when I can. There used to be a team here, the Honey Badgers. They moved to Brampton, but it's a good league. It's good basketball. It's guys that are looking to get another opportunity, possibly south of the border, and they get an opportunity in the CEBL. I like the rules. I like the flow of play. I like that they have the point system at the end where you reach the target score and you win the game. I like that element of it. It's a good league. And apparently Mike Moriali, who's the commissioner, he's reporting that he's seeing growth in the ratings, growth in the attendance at all these games. So you like to hear that for that league. Good news.
Yeah, they've had 27 players sign NBA contracts. Either 10, the 10 days, G League teams, but it is the quality of play. It keeps on getting better every year. They're even talking about expansion. All right, so we'll get to, I want to wrap up with some more golf picks on the way out here. But so you guys are saying the Riders. We all agree with the total. Listen, Ottawa and Hamilton should be a track meet. Ticats have won 2 in a row. Let's give them credit, but laying 5.5 is very dangerous now against a very, very desperate Ottawa football team who has their quarterback back. Like, first game back, you sort of got to give a guy, first half of the game to get into a rhythm again. So I think Ottawa is going to put points up. As good as Bo Levi Mitchell is, been playing in that offense and Lawler and everything, the Hamilton defense still gets lit up. And then you got BC. Spread has come down, guys. It was 3.5. I think BC are going to get it done on the road against Edmonton. I think the game goes over to 51. I'll take Ottawa plus the 5.5, and I'll go over 54.5. I'll go Calgary plus 5 and over 52.5. Cam, what do you have for Ottawa and Hamilton and BC and Edmonton?
Ottawa plus a 5.5 is probably my favorite bet of the thing. Decide on them. I expect fireworks as well. And I lean BC. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I love the Red Blacks. I'm going to sprinkle on the money line. Desperate team. Drew Brown's back. I expect a real tight game. I think the dog could win outright.
Babano, quickly, what do you got, BC, Edmonton?
Yeah, BC Edmonton, this has moved from 3.5 through the key number of 3 down to 2.5. There's a lot of money on Edmonton this week. And look, Trey Ford looked good, but that defense is still a concern for me. That's an over for me more than anything in that BC Edmonton game because Nathan Rourke's going to be better. I think he was kind of up and down against Montreal. You also have to remember Montreal's got a good defense. I think he'll be better here in this game against Edmonton. But Trey Ford, he's getting better and better. And BC, they already had D-line injuries. And the guy that incited that brawl and that fight at the end of the Montreal-BC game, he just got suspended for a game. They can't afford more D-line starters out. Now there's another one out for BC. So that defense is already hurting, and now there's another guy down. I think that's an over on Sunday with BC and Edmonton. I lean to BC now, though, below a field goal.
If you guys saw the BC Lions practice facility, you'd never bet on them ever again. I happened to see it. I'd never seen it before in person, Cam. I saw it today, just by chance. I was on the train, the SkyTrain, yeah, and I passed it. And I look over, and I'm like, because last week Luke Wilson reposted a picture of the Lions practicing. And he goes, please tell me this isn't their practice field. Do they practice in a public park? And Farrell and Lodge, he said, no, they have a little facility, but it's open to the public. No, it's a public park. Yeah. It basically, there's kids playing basketball.
Yeah.
No, it's bad. I looked, I'm like, dear God. I thought, I'm like, man, I bet a lot of money on these guys. I can't believe this is where they practice. All right, Cam, who wins the golf tournament?
Well, I'm going to take Colin Morikawa at 28-1. I also like Fitzpatrick. If you're looking for a pooch Ryan Fox first-round leader, give me Morikawa at 32 and Fleetwood at 30. By the way, get golf bets in. This tournament kicks off at 2 a.m. Eastern. You got 2 hours, everybody.
Good call. Yeah. We're in Europe. That's good stuff for the overnighters. Maybe you could stay up, Cam, and you could bet the ponies.
Oh, I'm ready to make
you can watch
when I'm done here. Yeah, I got some more bets.
We don't miss a lot of shows, but we're going to be gone for the next 3 nights because, believe it or not, we're off the market, ladies. We're getting married. But we'll be back on Tuesday. Other than that, you're on your own later.